So you all know this, Americans are increasingly tethered to their smartphones, and many teenagers are spending a majority of their time online because of the allure of social media. But with so much time focused on the number of likes, the retweets, the getting the hottest selfie, what is that doing to this younger generation?
Yeah, Vanity Fair writer Nancy Jo Sales spent more than 2 years interviewing teenagers across the country, 200 teenagers, young girls, and she shares her findings in a new book called American Girls: Social Media and the Secret Lives of Teenagers. Nancy, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared because I have a 5-year-old,
yeah.
and I was instantly projected into the future looking at your book.
Yeah, because you were definitely worried.
Yeah, but let's talk about this idea of instant gratification, instant approval, that I think, as a teenager, you're always looking for some sort of approval. Am I okay? Am I like everyone else? And now with social media, you can get it like that by doing almost nothing, clicking.
You can get it or you cannot get it. That's the thing. It's like putting yourself up for others' validation. And what's challenging, I think, to a lot of girls is that they are feeling like they're constantly having to be, validated by other people, to have likes on their pictures. The popularity contest that high school has always been has sort of moved on to social media. And I think that's unfortunate because I think it creates a lot of focus, for one thing, on appearance.
We're showing these statistics here. Intriguing. 73% of teens have access to a smartphone, and the amount of time that they spend online is we just showed crazy numbers there. But what about cyberbullying, which is, to me, where a lot of the attention has been focused on what happens, because it's easy. One of the things we were talking about is how in the old days, if you made fun of somebody, it was to their face. Even if you wanted to ask a sexually explicit question, it was to somebody's face. Now it lives on forever.
Yeah, well, I mean, people don't tend to ask sexually explicit questions face to face as much as they do from behind a screen.
That's right.
Right, and we know that behind a screen, many studies bear this out, people are more aggressive. They can even be less ethical. So I think that this is a huge issue when you're talking about raising children to be ethical people. And I didn't talk to a single girl in this country in 30 months who hadn't been cyberbullied at some level. It's still a huge issue for girls. Girls are cyberbullied more than boys. The laws have not caught up with it. There's very little recourse. Often there's a lot of shame and mental health issues, anxiety, depression related to it. And it's something that is still a very big problem.
Nancy, is it just as simple as saying to a child, and I don't have kids, but is it just as simple as saying, you know what, you're not getting a phone until you're at least 15 or 16? Are there ways to block social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram? I mean, if that's what it takes, is it possible? As a parent, I don't mean like the government or anything.
I don't advocate taking away phones. I don't think that what we need to do is take away phones. I think we need to change the culture of social media so that it's kinder, that it's less focused on the wrong things and more focused on the right things. Social media is just a tool. It's not inherently good or bad. And I think we can change the way that we all use it.
I want to get back to the cyberbullying thing because, sort of old school people will say, in my day, there was always bullying at school. You got to toughen up. These kids are too soft. What's the difference between what we see now and what was occurring before there was social media?
The difference is that now your bully or bullies have access to you all the time on multiple platforms because everybody's involved. Kids are on it. They're just all on it. And you can't leave it. You can't go home. They can find you in this place. They can find you in that place.
I want to interrupt because I was bullied a lot as a kid, and I was physically bullied. And going to school was a terrifying thing for me at some level when I was a kid, because it was a physical beating that I would get, or I'd get my head dunked in a toilet bowl or pushed into a locker.
Too.
But if I'm just getting words on Facebook, I think that I might be able, if I were a kid today, that I might be able to handle that more than the physicality.
Well, unfortunately, sticks and stones isn't true. I mean, words do hurt kids, a lot. And I think that, the girls that I spoke to were, had terrible stories. Well, you read about them in the book where, it can be anything from like a little comment that, makes you feel bad that day to, I talked to girls who tried to kill themselves multiple times. I mean, these are things that we have never had to deal with as parents, as adults. We've never been in this environment before, so we don't really know what it's like.
It's a fascinating book. I mean, we've been talking about it all morning
Yeah,
long.
we
And I
have
think
been.
once you leave, we're going to still be talking about it in between our commercial breaks.
I hope so.
Yeah, Nancy Jo Sales, thank you very much. The book is Social Media, The Secret Lives of Teenagers, American Girls.
Thank you.